What's up, Giga Gamers? Welcome to the StratChat. We're looking at SK versus Rogue. SK is trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Rogue is trying to improve their playoff position. They are in first place. Should be heavily Rogue favored. When you look at this game, we've got standard everything from Rogue. Odo Omne's on his favorite Hullbreaker champ. So he's looking to push that lane in as hard as possible. Xin Zhao, I need to confirm what spot they're on. What patch? I believe they're on the current patch, and if that's true, I think Xin is actually a scuffed pick, and that could be a point of weakness for them. So we'll see about that. The stock scaling, we're going to get a Aphelios and Orianna in a big late game, but we do have Ryze Jinx, which is going to outscale them, and Gwen. So as long as SK can withstand the push in the top lane, Gwen can remain reasonably close to Graves, and Ryze reasonably close to Orianna, then they're going to be really strong for the fights. Their issue is that their team is very low range. So look for them to try to create condensed fights. The issue with condensed fights is then you've got Rakan, Orianna that are going to be able to counter that. All right, so we see no leash starts. Zin's on his blue. We'll see if he uses smite. They both should use smite. They both did. You want to use smite at that first camp because it just gets you to level 2, so then you have more stats to fight the next camp. Even though, getting more healing back later, it's just not worth it compared to the speed of the clear. Now look at Zin's path. He's skipping wolves. He's going to do 3 camp into red, but he's going to run into the ward. No, the ward just expired. So 220, ward's expired. We'll see if that's something that the analysts caught up on. Xin is actually on red without being seen. Lee Sin's going for full clear, so we're going to have opposite side action. If Xin tries to invade, trying to read the route here, he's gonna find nothing in the western quadrant. Really what he's doing is he's empowering Graves on his early levels to get the early push in. So see, Xin now is bouncing back. All right, is he doing 5 camps in reverse direction to come back to bot scuttle? It looks like it. All right, so Malrang likes to be unpredictable. 4 camps going straight for scuttle. So this is, going way behind on productivity to be a little bit spontaneous. Gilead spotted on wards. Xin Zhao saw that the bloom was popped and saw the wolves, so he's actually taking the wolves right away to kind of misinform the play. Leona stunning the scuttle, big play, allows Lee Sin to go there. So Lee Sin way ahead on development, 6 camps versus 5, and he's first to act. Now he's on bot side on a bot wave that's coming into his team, so he's perfectly in position. Graves is pushing in. Xin still has not seen Lee Sin in 45 seconds, so he's really has to be a little bit more worried about where he might be. And as he goes to full clear on Krugs, the only thing he can possibly do is hover Graves if Lee Sin shows up, whereas Lee Sin can actually make a play in this bot wave with the negative wave state. Now this is probably going to be the state of the game. You're going to have pushing waves from double ranged in bot wave. You have Orianna in mid, and you have Graves in top. So they're trying to create pushed waves to allow Xin some windows. So far, the trying to be a little bit spontaneous has punished Malrang a bit. But this is the sort of thing. It's great to do this in a 12-3 versus 5-10 game. You're still favored to win, and you put it on tape that you're willing to do a little bit more random things. It's very, very good when we're talking about optimal game theory. You have to win not just this game, but win as many games over the course of the season and the last game of the season. And everything that Rogue does should be in an attempt to win the last game of the season. They think that they are world's caliber. They think that they can compete, so they should be doing everything in their power to get ready to beat the powerhouses of the East. That is the added benefit of having a spontaneous route now, just in this random Week 8 game. This is, of course, the beginning of the Super Week. It's first game one. A lot of spots are going to be trickling into position. A lot of the teams are locked into the playoffs, but their position is not. Rogue is trying to stay ahead of Fnatic, so they do care about the win. They want to get that first seed so that they get the priority in the playoff picture. But they do think that they're strong enough that it won't matter. You see Leona coming out, getting ward in the river on the dragon, but then coming straight back to bot. It is 5:38. Both teams taking their recalls. We'll see who decides to jump on a 7-minute push and back. You saw that when they did want to get that recall in, Lee Sin was able to help push the wave with them. So they got a favorable recall. They were able to crash this wave. Aphelios only missing a few minions, but still not quite as good as Jinx. Jinx actually using that fast push and an immediate recall fast by Leona roaming again. Nice little tricks by SK using that wave management on the 6-minute wave. Larson doing his best on his control mage, trying to bully out Ryze. If we do start seeing Ryze and Orianna, I expect to see more Cassiopeia because there's that rock, paper, scissors. Orianna beats Cass. Cass beats Ryze. Ryze beats Ori. The game has changed a lot since that was a meta like 4 years ago, so we'll see how much of that is still true. But if these champions are here and someone fancies himself a Cassiopeia, then they should take it. Cass also, I do believe, is the #1 champion on the Chinese super server queue. I don't know if that's still true, but definitely one of the players near the top is a Cassiopeia one trick. So we'll see if someone decides to pick that up or have a little discussion with them. Look at the control wards that Rogue has on the east side of mid river, right over here. Controlling that area. Ori gets to hover that area. If anyone wants to come through there, especially a roaming Leona, she's going to pass through multiple wards. There is an angle, though, hovering their own red side and hovering their own pit. If you cover the own side of your red pit and stay away from the beach, you can actually get away from this ward. There's no tricks about sneaking past that ward like there is on the top side, so you do have to come over here, and then we're looking at like a flash ult sort of scenario if they want to make that play. Ryze does have phenomenal setup, but they're also protecting for Rakan's view. They're leaving Graves up on an island. Odo Omne likes it this way. Look at this, 4 control wards in the bot side river. Odo is just going to push to his heart's desire, clear a wave, back off, clear a wave, back off, buy Hullbreaker, and never be heard from again. That is the strength of the Hullbreaker, is that it basically cuts off a part of the map. You just don't need to touch it. Let's see if he decides to hold this or free. Yeah, he's going to freeze this while Gwen is taking off and warding the Herald. He's giving himself the option, pulling it into the wave. All right, pulling it into the jungle a little bit, keeping the wave right there. It's going to cost Gwen probably the 3 melees. And I don't know that she can even come close because they know Xin Zhao's in the area. Xin Zhao. Orianna pushing in Ryze, but Ryze is going to have the combat stats starting very soon. This is the portion of the game that Larson does have the biggest advantage. He's got the levels in his spells, and Ryze does not have all the move speed or the first upgrade. Once he does, once you see most likely what's going to be a Merc Treads from the Ryze and a completed item, with a stacked tier, that's Ryze's biggest power. Well, I won't say biggest power spike, but that's when the curve starts turning up for him. Malrang starting it, but balking, moving it out of the vision of the wards. They must have seen this ward get placed. Yeah, they did. Their ward was down first. So when Gwen placed this ward, this is really high level play. Make sure you're doing this in your games. Pulling the Herald outside the pit, outside of the vision of the ward that they dropped. You have perfect information. All right, Gilius calling the bluff, though, and he's actually going to sit on this. Make sure that you do not distance yourself. Do not let this Herald engage on the Ryze, otherwise the patience will run out. You'd be surprised how often that happens, even in pro games. All right, Comp getting plates, getting compensated in the bot lane. They've got a healthy 2-plate lead in this situation. Despite Lee being back there and getting the favorable back off, they are still up 2 plates, and Zin hasn't even had to do anything. Ships passing in the night, they said. The SK coach will interview. That's what Jinx ult is used for in the early game. Use it to stop backs. The damage is not high enough. It's way too unpredictable. You're not going to have those big team fights where you want those big resets to chase everyone down. So use it for utility. Use it for vision. Use it to stop a back. And now they get a favorable win state. I would have preferred that they slow pushed this lane and then held the Aphelios here, because the Rakan was gone. They could have forced that 2v1 or pushed him off the wave, let a double stacked wave go in, push that in, and then you guarantee yourself a back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Comp take a fake back, although with Rakan gone, he probably doesn't have enough vision to really want to do it. Yeah, so Comp takes his back. Both of them are going back to the bot lane. We did not see major involvement of the supports to the Herald this game. Ships passing in the night. Lee Sin did take the Herald. That is a slight inaccuracy. You can do better. Lee Sin relies on his trinket more than most champions do. So in general, you don't want to put it on a Lee Sin. Let's see. Forcing the flash from Larson. Gilius may have been able to get an E-flash there. All right, nice peel from Larson, using his pot to get the mana back to be able to cast his ultimate there. I'm actually somewhat surprised that Gilius was not willing to E-flash into reposition for the kick, or to allow Ryze to catch up. That was a potential for a play. It's a tough play to make. There you go. Leona slow, setting up the Lee Sin. Larson staying on such low mana, doesn't have ult to self-peel. They should be able to lock this one up. Activate the slowly. Was he waiting for his team's cooldowns? That's kind of bizarre. Ooh. Oh, the Jinx kill, setting him up, putting him in the corridor. Jinx from downtown. That's one of the few times you can do it. You know what their movement's going to be. Gilius dropping this right away. I dislike that play. He's doing it to get priority on the dragon. So they want their cake and eat it too. They're going to go for min plates in mid lane. They're going for just the 2 and the dragon. Oh, Malrang. Malrang. Going into a 2v1 with a Leona. I don't know about that. All right, so Gilius play paid off. I would have liked to see them go for the entire turret. It's, I believe, more valuable. Leaving it up means that they want Ryze to have a safer place to farm, but more standing gold on the map for them. They're prioritizing the dragon, though. Must be feeding towards a tank Ryze. Yeah, we see Everfrost and Merktreads. We're going to see Frozen Heart, and we're going to see Fimbulwinter completed next on the Rise. Was that Hex Flash or Real Flash into Leona? Nice little combo. Although Leona, a little bit of misread right there. Leona casting the E. It does guarantee that it's going to hit, but you overlap your CC a little bit there. Hey, it's Jinx from Arcane. All right, here's the play from Xin Zhao. Could he have done better? I mean, Ryze is pop damage, right? That continuation is so strong. And Ryze does not mind being inside the Xin Zhao Crescent Guard. Not at all. So Jinx is going to be springboarded here. Going just about even, slightly down, even though they missed on plates as well. So lower on plates, lower on CS than the Aphelios. Slightly problematic, but does get that kill. They're going to be looking to play around these big team fights. Ryze, Jinx, their damage is going to be exceptional. I want to see Lee Sin find the angles, although they may not need to, right? Their damage is just that much higher that at range, as long as they're keeping at the edge of Aphelios, Orianna range, they are more threatening, right? If they're inside their range, they are more threatening. They do need to worry about that one bombastic ult combo from Graves, Ori, and Aphelios. But as long as they can stay away from that one big grouped up fight, they should be okay. So I wouldn't mind seeing them in split push 1-3-1. Gwen in the long lane, Rise in the short lane, so he's in ult distance of whatever is happening, and 3 in the mid with Lee just playing Peel. Jinx has relatively safe wave clear, just because it's so fast and long range. Whereas I expect Rogue to go into 4-1 as an answer. They can send the 4 at the 3 and try to overpower them slowly, but I don't think they're going to beat Jinx. If they do, they're looking for that Xin Zhao flank, where you can either E in behind them and then Crescent Guard to knock them backwards into his teammates. Or they just look to straight up push hard with impunity. Ooh, Odo. Nice little combo here. That's how much work it takes to beat up a hull breaker, and it took a mistake from Odo. They've got that CC lock. Ended up going with Hullbreaker into the Noon Quiver. Oh, this continuation is very good from SK. Way to pursue, guys. You just don't need this. It's a Trimby. Don't stretch. It's just the Rakan. If you stretch for that play, you get punished by Larson. I want to see them use this momentum. Jinx knows she's stronger right here in the 1v1. Nice flash. Great play. Knowing your limits, knowing that you're stronger, right? You're up a Zeal. You're up a Zeal to a Vamp Scepter. You can be willing to take that high damage play. You do not want to chunk that play and then allow the reset, because the Vamp Scepter will get Aphelios back up to full health. I like this transition. Jinx not greeting for this wave. As long as someone on your team is getting it, that's good. You need to prioritize the single split pushers getting the gold. So Gwen picks up the wave, not Jinx. Jinx can get the gold elsewhere. That same amount of time that you'd take taking that bot wave, you're going to use it getting farm somewhere else. I don't like what she's doing right now. She's actually skipping Raptors to go up to this wave that's up past river, and their team does not have vision. So she's actually in a little bit of a bind right here. She needs to just hard crash this wave and get out. Look at how cautiously she's hovering. And they immediately retreat bot side. Let's see if they position themselves for Dragon. They're going to trade Herald for Dragon here. There won't be objective bounties, but I like what SK is doing. They're actually taking the most here. They're not forcing the Dragon. Instead, prioritizing coming back to defend against the Herald. They're going to let Lee Sin solo the Dragon. Or is Lee Sin going to move over? I would like to see Gwen just cycle back and Lee Sin, Gwen take the Dragon together. Yeah, that's what it looks like they're doing. So your two men, your two strongest players are going in, and they're going to take the Dragon while your team defends against Herald. Malrang does not see an opening, so he calls back. So a purely profitable play from SK. Beautifully done. Good adaptation. Calling the attack, saying we can defend this and we re-raise you a Dragon. Doing it in the perfect way, sending exactly the right number of resources. This turret is not yours to defend, not until Rise and Gwen are in position. There you go, they call him back. Did they have vision of this? They just saw them walk back from mid. Rogue deciding that this is not the hill to die on. They do have favorable vision to set up for Baron. They've got 3 control wards and the 2 in the western quadrant. SK's vision in the eastern quadrant, much less valuable. More defensive ward by Raptor's Pit in the south. This is all to protect the Gwen in her split push, but when they send Rise up into the top lane, it's going to be a little bit harder. They don't have any of this vision, so expect SK to move. I want to see them move into the western quadrant together. I don't want Lee Sin in the southern quadrant. I want him moving west with Leona, helping for vision. It looks like he's leashing red for the Jinx, which is unnecessary at this point, but I understand it. I'd like to see Lee move west, control that vision together, let Jinx hover back. I don't want to see any action in the southern quadrant. I think this is a misposition from Gilius. His team is ceding way too much ground right now as they prepare for Baron. And this is exactly what we were talking about from Rogue. They're playing a 4-1 style. Every once in a while, Oriana's gonna split off to push a wave, but then you see them condense, and they keep on condensing in this Western quadrant, which is gonna allow for their team to be strong. Look for that team fight. Graves has no intent of joining, right? Graves is going to be pushing, forcing someone to come to him, maybe up to 2 players. We'll see if SK's ever willing to send 2 players. That is the play if you can find a window without knowing that you're going to lose Baron. So, for example, Ryze plus Gwen can kill a Graves, right? Even on Immortal Shieldbow and Hullbreaker. As tanky as he is, those 2 champions have enough burst damage to beat a Graves. Both of them have teleport. Ryze has a large gap close, so you can send Ryze in a long play to the bot lane to kill a Graves, to then have both people teleport back. This is how you can gain a small incremental advantage in the game. It won't blow open any windows, although they may try to go kill the Graves and immediately teleport anyways. But with whatever resources they use to kill Graves, they're probably no longer strong enough to win the 5v4 against Rakan, Aphelios, or Oriana. So I expect SK to continue putting wards deeper on the east side of the map. They want to find this attack on Graves at some point. They're also fine just allowing Graves to push in. At some point, though, he does become strong enough that the threat on the turrets is going to be too strong for Gwen. The range advantage, she's not going to be able to get in, not without something like a Rylai's that there's no way she's going to buy. She's Riftmaker into Nashor's Tooth. This surprises me big time. All right, they see Orion on the top wave. They're happy to just flex in. Graves is in bot, so they're just taking their 4v3 and the impression of Ryze to be able to make that strength. I dislike this play from Larson. Right, you are getting solo XP. It is a slight relative gain, but you can just go get that and rotate back very quickly. SK not even allowing anything. Oh, Gilius with the flash. Are they going to try to... Treat's getting knocked back. There is a position that you can take to not get knocked back and to hit the Herald. But you need to have a certain attack speed and a certain attack range. Graves dirty farming as he should be. All right, let's see Rogue continue to control the western quadrant so that they can play 2 lanes and allow Oriana to push a wave and regroup with the team. Oriana pushes. This is getting there slightly too quickly. Those minions are just going to melt into the turret. Look how strong the Graves is here. Oh, E is on cooldown. That's a window for GenX if he wants it. He's not going to take it because it's 3 items versus 2. But if GenX were equal on items, they could take that fight. If Nashor's Tooth is completed and Graves E's in like that, that's a mistake that Gwen can punish. All right, Malrang and Comp venturing east for the first time in forever. They want to sneak. They want to take this dragon on spawn, knowing that they had the threat of Graves. Graves backed outside of vision, so Gwen does not know whether or not she can come up there. This is a good play to sneak this vision, but they are ceding all of their vision lead in the western quadrant to get this. Who won? If you want, pause the video. Think about who won. We'll talk about it in the comments below. 2340, the aftermath, that last minute. Who do you think won? All right, Gwen now has the window. They spot Graves. They're going to move up. Oriana's in side lane. Again, a little bit too long. I don't like how long she's camping in these spots. I want her just to push this wave, immediately get out, rejoin with the team, flex with this 4-man team. Aphelios by himself has to step back. We'll see if this is a 3rd item. Could it be? It should be. We'll see if we get Mortal Reminder here. No, just Last Whisper. Odo Omne. Flexing. All right, they take the quick recall. Blue team has given up some of the vision in their jungle again, despite being stronger there. We'll see if Oriana and Rakan move together. Those 2 are the ones that are applying constant threat. We do see the Everfrost tech from Trimby. Is it worth it? Protect Odo. Trimby's okay. This is a Gwen a little bit scary here. They can condense. They should have been fine here. They do keep Malrang. Wow, Comp stepping up and left to tank that so that Malrang could survive. That's the sort of thing that pro players just, they get it like that. All right, they're using the health lead. Are they going to force Baron? They're going to force you to come here. This is probably one of the best windows you'll get for getting them to come to you. This ward that they have, the pink ward that they have on the edge, very loosely placed, should be another Teemo inwards or a half Teemo inwards. As of right now, it does not see the very back of the pit. They do force it. What happens with the fight? They don't opt to take it. They know that Leona's still not there, and that the impact of Xin arriving compared to the impact... Oh, look at this play. No one expects you to go all the way to the turret. So the defenders are going to flank you here and here. No one expects you to just walk under turret and then teleport out. That is heads-up play by Genax. We might even give that... That might even be the heads-up play of the week. All right, big overplay by Leona. Can't be here. Look at her team. Everyone's spread out. They're bubbled out. Gwen had moved bot. Ryze had moved to the west. Jinx was stepping back, and Lee Sin wasn't there. You just can't be up that far. Look at that play by Comp. Just like, I'm going to step in front of you. I'm going to take this and move to the left so that the splash doesn't hit you ever so barely. Oh, treats again. Okay. Is he just the bait? He's Leona. He's tanky enough. All right, they've got Malrang isolated. They should condense on Malrang. Move together. Move together. They're going for the chase. They do not need to take this chase. Oh, there's Gilius with Yin. All in. Perfect. All right, they got it. They got the window. Slowed down. Perfect Lee Sin mechanics getting back into the team. Graves needs to be able to beat Gwen by at least this much. Oh, Jezu, a little heads down play. And Graves can't take this all in anymore. 2.5 items versus 2.5 items. You are not going to win this anymore as Graves. Even with Hullbreaker. He teleports back to wave clear. Graves a little bit better than most at beating... Ooh, nice dash backwards. What a bait. Using the smoke screen. Graves a little bit better than most at clearing Baron minions, right? He's got the auto attack that can push the cannon further away. He can use smoke screen to stop the siege players from knowing what's coming. And he's got AD damage not mitigated by the Baron buff. Treats, getting that ward in and stepping back. So that ward, we want to talk about that ward. That's the type of ward that you hover the bush and you wait over here. You slowly pull it over until it turns green. Once it does, you know it's in the bush. So as you're walking in, you know that you will waste not a pixel of movement to get too far into that bush, and you will put it at max range. All right, taking stock, we've got Baron pushing in. The split push team has Baron. They've got 2 and 2 on Dragons. They've got an exposed middle base with a little bit of chunk of damage, although that's going to heal up. Let's see how they play this. Are they going to strong arm for Dragon? I do not like this play. You're playing into the strength of Rogue right here. Their composition wants this very badly. You see Orianna placing the ball early to get vision. This is all about vision. They should take this fight. Rogue should take this fight. They're stronger here. They're stronger. I want you to take this fight, Rogue. What are you doing, Trimby? I hate that play. That was split calls. Someone on the team is saying we'll win later. We'll win later. We can still scale or something, but they're just incorrect. That is going to be your best window. You want the Deathball team. You want that 5v5. You're going to be losing in the side lanes. Your Orianna can no longer stand up to Ryze. Your Graves can no longer stand up to Gwen. And Jinx is clearing waves in 2 hits. So what better window do you have than right here? Pause the video. Look at the engaged tools they have. What should they be doing? Good chompers by Jinx to deny some of the vision. But look at this. If Trimby just goes in right there. If Trimby engages I think they're going to get a 5-man Orianna ult into 5-man Graves ult and 4 to 5-man Aphelios ult. Like, Trimby's just got to press the go button there. Especially with so many of the tools still down from SK from the chase that they made when after in this pit here with the treats bait. SK's got the inner track to winning now. They've got the split push team. They're going to be stronger in side lanes. They've got 3-2 dragon lead. They should be able to flex this next dragon into a Baron. They should be able to just concede the dragon and get Baron. It is a little bit tricky as the 1-3-1 team because you don't want to hard commit your whole team to one place where you might get engaged on. But if you feel that you have enough vision that you can force Rogue into a 5-man check on the dragon, then champions like Gwen and Jinx are just going to rip apart this Baron. So I expect them to make that play. If Rogue keeps people off the map, then instead the 1-3-1 play, you're going to give the green light to the Gwen to push harder, right, versus the Graves to say, we want you to start flexing, push harder. We will quickly condense on dragon and try to collect soul quickly. Now, you do get in a position, right? You do always want to think, do I actually want soul right now? The idea always being that in 6 minutes, do we want Elder Dragon to spawn? Are we going to want that fight to be there? And in this case, you have to be careful because a fight around Elder Dragon is the sort of thing that you want to avoid. But Elder Dragon being on the map empowers your split pushers, right? So you can have Ryze in the short lane near Elder with multiple different avenues to cast his ult to evade them. Gwen can go into the side lane, and the 3-man push in the middle, every time that Rogue tries to check the Dragon Pit or even converge on Soul even a little bit, you're threatening 4 people already looking at them right at that moment. Gwen's always going to be stronger than Graves at every scenario, right? Either they teleport and she's stronger or they don't teleport and she's stronger. So you're going to win those positions. You want Elder out, right? So that's the thought process that you need to have go through your head. Do I actually want Elder to spawn, right? And that's, on top of wanting the soul. Yes, you want the soul, but your objective cannot be as shallow as saying, I just want this soul. You also need to say, do I want Elder to spawn? All right, not surprised to see SK pull off the Baron. Would have been an okay window, but Orianna just completing her death cap means that the full-on team fight is online. Oh, the engage, half of them go over. They engage on Trimby, they get it. They're going to take Odo Omne, who does not have the Hullbreaker bonuses. This is going to be a full cleanup. Everyone should be on full chase, end mid. Start thinking about your roles. What is your job now to end this game? Gen X to front line. Ooh, the Orianna may be a little bit early, but it does peel them off. Come on, just heal up, guys. All right, they're not taking the end. With Orianna ult down, you know that they don't have any more resources to beat you, but it is Larson and Comp, the 2 carries on the team. They're taking the safe choice, and I don't mind this. This is probably higher overall odds. It's not the cleanest win, but it is the one that takes away the most chances of a comeback. So again, you're the Baron team with split push. You've got a massive gold lead now. You're stronger in fights. You're stronger in splits. If SK loses this, it's going to be entirely on them. So if you're Rogue and you get into this situation, what's your play? Okay. Take a moment, think about it. Just take stock of all the information. I'll try to catch a moment when they pull the scoreboard up. Pause right here. What would you do as Rogue? Do you double down on your team fight and say, you know what, things are only going to get worse 3 minutes from now when they bleed us dry of everything? Oh, that's certainly what they're getting mixed calls right here. You see Comp flashing over the pit, over the wall as everyone's preparing for the fight. Like, this would be a totally reasonable place for you to fight. So Comp either needs to not be there, your team needs to not look at the dragon at all, and start getting some power elsewhere. So Rogue showing some signs that things might not all be peachy in the comms. They got to clean this up. You have to decide whether or not you want to be there, and then go. So going back, what did you choose? What should Rogue do? Is the situation going to be more dire in 3 minutes after the Barons push you in? Gilius. posturing a little bit too wisely. Gets caught on his crack. That death, unfortunately for SK, talking about throws, one death ruins an organized siege. You can be fully progressed with all the waves at their turret, and one death can kill everything. Because no matter what situation comes up, your number's down now. You can play a gambit if you are losing, where you continue to push on the sides and tell the other enemy team, that's fine, we'll feed you another kill or another lane worth of kills while we finish the job in top wave, for example, right? So you could say, all right, that's fine, you killed Gilius mid, we're going to put Ryze mid, put 2 bot and Gwen up in the top lane, and make you decide where to go, and you have to go someplace strong enough. You probably can't go on Ryze because a lot of your crowd control is on cooldown. Maybe you can, but he's got the easiest way out, so you're probably not going on him. If you engage on the side waves, Ryze can join, so you have to send enough people to do it. And if you do, not only will Ryze be pushing, but the other side lane will be pushing. Ryze probably doesn't get his turret by himself, but the other lane will, and he always can port over to make that support happen. So that's a strategy you can do if you are losing, but you have the waves in a perfect place and your champions that you want to be strong enough are strong enough, but you've lost one player and you're still good. They decide to just opt back, wait for the respawn, bring everyone back in, and muscle it down anyways. SK taking slow and steady, taking backs on all of these games, all of these opportunities. They are not pressing for anything. They are the split push team with a broken inhibitor. This usually is checkmate, but it is a full 5-man team fight team, so you can never count them out. They should bring their numbers. They're going to bring their teleports to the side wave just to clear the waves, and the masses should go mid. And as soon as SK shows their hand, you should be willing to teleport mid. Try to make it into a death ball. If there's any sign of a fight, you take it as the 5-man team. You cannot let this position bleed out. SK's got you pinned, essentially. You're going to see Ryze in the mid lane. They may feel like they're strong enough to just bring Gwen and force team fights because then you're enacting the Hullbreaker diff. Trimby holding steady. Nope, they just put Ryze there. They brought the team into the Eastern Quadrant. Did not get many wards down, but you see the one deep ward that they did get. Oh, they're trying to position for Gwen. Malrang. It looked for a moment like they were going to set up Gwen and put the numbers in and say, we dare you to bring your Hullbreaker. Guys, stop backing. You have everything you need. What are you doing? All right, you had the perfect situation. Ryze mid, Gwen bottom, 3 top. You're in the perfect position to just take those fights. The one issue that they have is they have Ryze on exhaust with his summoner spellbook, which you cannot dump. All right, there are other summoner spells that you can dump at first sign of a fight to unlock your teleport, but you do have Ryze with his ultimate, so he should be able to join any positional fight, but I don't like that they gave it up. It looks like SK keeps on looking for the slightly better thing, but they're actually missing out on some opportunities. All right, every time that you allow Rogue to condense, you're just giving the opportunity. There might be more team fights. Jinx is not here. Rogue doesn't know it. Rogue should take this. All right, no longer. Opportunity is closed. You've condensed towards SK's team. This is not what you want to do. You have to realize that last known information on the carries was that they were mid lane, so you have to escape. Oops, sorry. You have to escape this way, not this way. This is going to be a GG for SK. That's it. Gen X can just tank this. You'd like to see Gilius take the next one. Certus with the engage. You guys do not need this kill. Larson is much too skilled on his control mages with his spacing. Jezu flashing it just to the style points. You don't need to do it, but they get the win. A lot of screws that they can tighten up, do a little bit better, but SK gets objective number 1 as far as proceeding towards the playoffs. They do need to win out. They need to win every single game, and then 8 and 10, maybe. Maybe. I think they're still reliant on other teams losing. I think Mad Lions is in another position of winning out. We'll see if it comes down to Mad Lions and SK playing for the spot. Rogue definitely felt like they weren't on the point. Right? Their decision making should have been to condense, force fights when you're grouped twice around the pit. They had the position where they could have forced the engage. One time where Comp ended up flashing the wall. That was a clear miscommunication on whether or not they should even be there. And then that Trimby, man, Trimby had an opportunity to set up a game-ending, like, hallelujah exclamation point on that fight. We'll see if we can find it real quick. All right, so here we go. Wisely puts the control ward down, stops the vision. All right, team can start creeping in. Enemy team can't contest you moving forward, right? Because if they move up, then they're putting themselves in Trimby engage rage. But Trimby obviously wants to stay away from Rise. Good job from Rise forcing this separation here. He doesn't have the range to really keep this full force out, but he does have the range to keep Rakan out. Then you're in a position where you have Genax, short-range champion, Treats, short-range champion. Jez is really the only long range. Can he stop this whole team from coming in? Right now, if you just retreat, you're most likely to catch Genax here. Although Genax does have the route out to walk over here and dash over this wall, and Gilius can dash to him. When you progress, the moment they actually condense right here. Oops, pause. Right here, they have stepped back out. They have decided, at this moment where you see all of their champions walking forward, this is your window. You have to force this. You have to take it the rest of the way. Walk it forward just a little bit. Boom, again, another window. Your team is close enough. Odo Omne is close enough. This is one of the issues with having a Graves versus a real tank. But right here, another window. Absolutely, you need to take this, Trimby. He doesn't have his ult. Maybe he thinks that he can't engage this. But, like, look at this W right here. If you just jump in right on this position, you are going to get the full brunt of Larsen's damage, Odo's ultimate, and Comp's damage all coming in. He has the perfect guns for a long-range splash attack, right? So this is what you want. When you want just maximum damage at range to just, like, blow up a team fight, these are the perfect guns. This is a missed opportunity. Try to find a way to seal this. You've got to do it. This split pushing team is going to pick you apart. They're going to outscale you. Even if you don't like this situation, it's the best one you're probably going to get. You have to take this if you're Rogue, and I want you to improve this if you're going to compete at MSI and on the world stage. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was SK versus Rogue. SK coming out with the win with the split pushing team. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the discussion below. Until then, keep it surreal. I'll see you next time. Peace.